Hello everybody and welcome to Notorious Yugioh. I'm Notorious Cly, and today we have more TDGP content. I'm going to hammer out half of the replays that I have from the TDGP and give you my live commentary over them. I think this video is going to be more of the meta matchups that I have, and then lucky you guys, you get a third video where I'm going to do the same thing, but with some of the non-meta matchups that I had. So without any further ado, I hate saying that because it's something that every other Yugi tuber picks up on because of another clickbaity Yugi tuber, but I digress. Not to delay any further, here's our first duel against Little Ban. Alright, we can see Little Ban is on Aporia. Yikes, not a good sign. Not a good sign at all. So going into this duel, I am thinking Mech Lords. I'm thinking Mech Lords. They're playing the anti-synchro deck during the synchro encouraged event. So we open pretty good here. Call is going to get us Crimson, and then we're going to use Resonance to swap Red for Wild Wind. We have full combo, plus open the Doom Cal. Not bad. Not bad at all. So we're going to get the Doom Caliber normal summon in addition to the Red Nova play. So special Crimson, special Wild Wind, Synchro for Red Rising effect, target Crimson Resonator, special summon Crimson Resonator effect, special 2 red from deck. Red Resonator, target Red Rising, gain 2,100 life points. And we're going to Synchro summon for Red Dragon, Archfiend, and I need this full animation to catch my breath. And then we're going to go ahead and Synchro Summon for Red Nova Dragon. Let's go Double Tune. Shame that Red Nova Dragon doesn't have an animation. Hopefully they add that soon. And then we're going to normal summon the Doom Caliber, and we are going to go ahead and set the Solemn Scolding. And it turns out my opponent is not on Mech Lords. They are on Crusadia. So they normal Aboria, Link into Magius. And here at this point, I have two ways to stop the Magius or to force some interaction from my opponent. So way number one is to let them activate the effect of Magius and try to grab another Crusadia from the deck to their hand and let Doom Caliber negate it. But with that, I believe Aboria can banish itself from graveyard to protect the Magius. So kind of not really the best exchange there because they're going to be able to stick the Magius and still have a Link Arrow to special summon any Crusadia they might have on board from. So I'm liking this as a Solemn Scolding target because it's going to do this at spell speed 3, which means they can't banish Aboria to protect Crusadia Magius from being destroyed by Solemn Scolding. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to flip the Solemn Scolding, negate the summon of Magius, and then it turns out that they're not on Crusadia, they're not on Mech Lords, they're on Crusadia Mech Knight. So they follow that up with a World Legacy Memory. They're going to go ahead into purple. And I don't think they read Doom Caliber Knight, or they thought they had to force it. And does this summon in defense position? Okay, it does summon in defense position. So I was going to say you could threaten battle phase and force the Red Nova activation, which would then make me destroy. Never mind, it's not even a possibility, so I'm going to stop talking about it. So yeah, they're going to go purple, and they're going to fill this column with red and a set back row. So they're going to go ahead and activate purple here. Doom Cal's going to eat it. They're going to go red here, not read Red Nova Dragon, and not understand that it cannot be destroyed by my opponent's card effects. So I'm feeling pretty decent about this one. The 2 set cards are a little worrisome. If they didn't go for Morningstar, I'm thinking it's because they already have the Skill Drain. I'm sorry, World Legacy Memory, not Skill Drain. It'd be silly if they printed Skill Drain that was searchable, wouldn't it? So it's either that or they didn't want to risk the Morningstar being negated by the Doom Caliber Knight. So we're going to go ahead and top deck an MST here, and we're going to snipe one of their back row, and it's another World Legacy Memory. That's a bad hit, but you know, it's going to be okay because we're going to do some silly stuff. We're going to gain our 2 speed counters during the standby phase or main phase because I did the MST and draw phase. And we're going to banish Wild Wind to grab a Crimson. And we're not even going to mess around here. We're just going to Crimson into Wild Wind. We're going to normal the Wild Wind. And I'm thinking here with the normal Wild Wind that I want extra damage on board because I'm just going to try and swing for game. I'm just going to try and punch through everything. So we're going to use our speed counters and our purple Rose Bike to go ahead and give Red Nova piercing and attack all monsters my opponent controls. And they're going to do secrets. They did open the secrets, but they neglected to remember that I gave Red Nova Dragon the ability to attack all monsters they control. So it's either that or they realized that they were just cooked. So there we go. We beat Mech Knights. We beat Crusadia Mech Knights. Not pure Mech Knights, but it's still a really, really good deck. Feeling pretty good about that one. It's nice to see in this event that the special dual runner skills are actually helping the not meta decks compete and punch up against the meta decks. One of the things I don't really like about the events that Duel Links does like this is you're basically just playing meta in a different format. There's little to no incentive to not play it. I mean, if Mech Knights is already one of the best 5, 6, 7 decks in the game, wouldn't it be better if they just get a draw 1 or a draw 2, discard 1, you know, every third turn? So in these events, it usually, the extra skills or the extra layers they add to the event actually end up helping the meta decks just as much as they help the non-meta decks, so it doesn't really even the playing field at all. It's nice to see that it did in this instance, but overall I still don't think that it does. That's enough ranting about the Duel Links events. Let's get on to our next replay. Here we have another example of why I don't really like the Duel Links events. It's because they don't put any restrictions on the event. So you run into meta stuff. Like, can only assume this is PKs because they're playing Yugioh. And they're going to go ahead and go first. Okay, they're going to proc their skill. And do some swapping. Dump the cloak, banish cloak, add ragged gloves. And we can speed this up. I'm sure you guys are familiar enough with the combo by now. They're going to go into Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragon, which is curious. Maybe they don't have Leviar to recycle the cloak, but either way, I'm thinking maybe they still have access to the rank up magic, which they do. We're going to use the rank up magic and go get their monster negate and destroy. So in this particular instance, the thing that worries me the most isn't the negate and destroy, because that's face up, that's known. I can do stuff to play around that. If they just go Dark Requiem pass, I'm not too worried about it. I feel pretty good in my ability to bait out that interaction, you know, depending on if my hand permits me to. But what always worries me in these types of matchups is the back row, because that's unknown interaction. I have an MST, but what am I going to hit? Am I going to pick something blind and put it up to a 50-50 and hope I get lucky? Or am I going to try and bait one of these interactions without baiting this interaction and then try to snipe the last one? Either way, back row is always hard to play into. I don't like playing in the back row. So we're going to do Resonator call, grab our boy, Crimson Resonator, and fortunately enough, we have a ton of stuff in hand to get more gas, and that's one of the reasons why I use Crimson Resonator here, is because I'm trying to force this interaction. And my opponent bit. They bit, and I'm going to follow the Dark Requiem with an MST, start to try and get lucky, because I don't really think I can play through 2 back row if they're both live, so I need to at least get rid of 1. And it turns out it was a Forbidden Lance, so not the greatest choice. Or solid choice, not the luckiest result. That's probably the correct way to describe it. So we're going to burn up the calls, get combo material. We're going to have to normal the Crimson, special the Wild Wind, go Red Rising. We're going to speed this up. Red Rising, Crimson, get a whole bunch of stuff. Red, gain life points, Darken, and it's Wing. Fortunately for them, I made the right pick. Knowing that it could be Wing, went with Dark End to send stuff to the graveyard. Dark End stays the MVP. Sending to the graveyard gets around so much stuff and so many different forms of protection. It's great. So we're going to send, go to Bane. And I don't know if this is a misplay, but I have lethal here if I special wheel Crimson back in attack mode and just go Bane plus Crimson. But without knowing what that back row was, I didn't want to leave myself vulnerable, especially with 7,000 life points. I want to protect that as much as possible. So hopefully I stand a chance in the grind game. I can't be giving away any of my grind game potential frivolously. I got to maintain everything I can, especially when I'm playing against a deck it's good at grinding as PK. So we're going to hit him for 35. They're going to go ahead and get 2 bodies on board. They're going to go Break Sword, and Break Sword's going to pop. They're going to special back. And they're going to go Malevolent Sin. So Sin's going to get rid of Crimson, pop me, and that's a good top deck. We're going to get combo material here, Wild Wind, and they realize it's over. So there you go. That's one against PKs. Couldn't look at my opponent's deck, but I'm almost 100% certain that this wasn't optimized PKs. If it was, you might have seen the Leviar turn 1, and you might have seen another Dark Rebellion Dragon. I don't know why they would have gone specifically with Malevolence in there. But you can only win against what you play against, you know? I've said this before. I think MechLord gave me a shout out in one of his videos for it too. You're not playing against the deck, you're playing against the player. And that player is also responsible for their deck building. And next up, we are going against Yusei. And they're going to go first, so we're going to see what they're on. Blind reaction would be Synchrons, but it's not. I see the Swap Cleric, into Link Disciple, and I know it's not Mech Knights. Yes, Mech Knights, not Mech Lords. Sorry. It's late for me. They're going to go Morningstar, and they did not search, which tells me one of these set cards is Memories. Has to be. They didn't search it. Why wouldn't you search it? So fortunately for us, this wasn't an exceptional hand for our opponent. Otherwise, we would have seen purple or at least another Mech Knight to, start accruing advantage and making my life more difficult. But unfortunately for us, not opening a bunch of Mech Knights means they're going to play 3 back row, and we don't have any back row removal. We get 1. Which to me means we have to save it for skill drain. We have to save it for memories because that's our only chance at trying to win here. So we're going to special Crimson, special Wild Wind. They're going to book, and we're going to go ahead and MSD blind, and we MSD the MSD. So, and then they're going to go ahead and flip secret. So I know I just said that we need to save the MSD for secret, but we were in a position to be able to force it because we got flipped down with Pokemon, so we had to change our plans. And that means trying to snipe the secret blind, or at least get rid of one more powerful, potentially powerful back row that they might have to make our follow-up even easier, because I had the Scolding, I actually had 2 Scoldings, which means I felt pretty good about being able to survive. 2 set bodies and a Scolding means I can probably eke out one more turn. May not be the most successful follow-up, but at least it will be a follow-up. So fortunately we opened the 2 Scoldings, so when we MSD the MSD and they MSD our Scolding, we can set the other Scolding on the follow-up. So they're going to go secrets, they're going to get red back, and they're going to go tie that binds, and they're just going to start smashing into stuff. But they didn't smash into the Wild Wind, I think because they wanted to make my follow-up more difficult. I don't think they realized that if I have no cards in hand and I only saw 1 Resonator, my odds of finding a way to a Resonator are going to be pretty high. I mean, you might as well just clear the body off the board and then just take your chances that way. I mean, I guess I see the logic, but I just don't know why you would leave the body on board unless they're thinking their set back row can take care of it. Oh well, we topped that call, so we're gonna go ahead and grab Crimson. We're gonna normal Crimson, flip to Wild Wind. They're gonna flip it back down, and we're gonna Scolding that because we've got some room to play here. They don't have a way to get another Mech Knight on field, which means we have an open column to activate our effects. So we're gonna go ahead and Synchro into Red Rising. Red Rising, bring Crimson. Crimson's effect. I know it's gonna be negated, but I gotta do it anyways. And then we're gonna go to Hot Red and Hot Red Board Wipe, swing for 3k, and they're gonna get some chance to follow up here. And they're gonna normal Ibly, and they realize they have nothing, and they have been bested. I know this is sort of a cherry-picked replay because my opponent didn't open the best, but sometimes it's gonna happen. Sometimes your opponent isn't going to open optimally or play optimally, and it's up to you, the player of the non-meta deck, to capitalize on those opportunities. The good duelist will capitalize on the opportunities they are afforded by their opponent or RNG, and inexperienced duelists won't be able to. Next up, we have Antinomy, and I'm thinking that they're on TGs, but you guys, spoiler alert, know this is a against meta showcase for the TDGP replays, so it's not going to be. But during my turn 1 setup, I'm thinking TGs. I think I need to try and set up my board for that, and it's not really like I have much of an option. We opened a bunch of Resonators, so we're just going to have to go Red Nova combo and see if we can stick Doomcal on board too. So we're going to do the normal play, going to speed this up here, going to go Red Nova, Demon's Resonance, swap one of the Crimson for the Doomcal, normal Doomcal, and pass it to my opponent. And it is kind of nice here that we'll have the Wild Wind Engrave plus the Crimson already in hand to guarantee ourselves follow-up to Demon's Resonance. Not so great here that our opponent opens Book of Moon. So let's see what they're going to hit. They hit the Doomcal, which to me is interesting because that's kind of telling me that they think they have a way to play through Red Nova Dragon, but they don't have a way to play around the negates. If I had some back row and I see them Book of Moon, the Doom Caliber, I would be using that back row at the first opportunity because obviously they needed that first opportunity to stick. Otherwise, they would have flipped Nova just to make sure they had an out to it. So let's go ahead and see what they're on. They're on Rockets. So not TGs. Again, didn't really make too much of a difference what they were playing with our setup because we're a little limited going first. And fortunately for me, they're leading with Silver Rocket Dragon, which means no Tracers, so they're not opening well. They're going to use the skill, the dual runner skill, to go ahead and get the Field Spell. Field Spell, get them another Silver on board. And they're going to go ahead and Link Summon into Booster, and then use Dragon Smear Diffusion into Furious Dragon. they're going to go ahead and attack. I'm going to banish with Red Nova Dragon to protect, just to make them burn up both attacks and preserve as much life points as I can. And we're going to go ahead and special Crimson, special Wide when they're going to TTH, and they're going to wipe both. That's fine. We're going to go ahead and make Red Nova Dragon as beefy as possible. They're going to Furious, knowing that they can't pop the Red Nova Dragon. They just want to make sure I don't kill them on that turn by swinging into both monsters they control. And then on the follow-up, they don't top deck what they need and realize it's over, so they just crash in Red Nova Dragon. We get the win. Hi everybody, it's me. During the editing process, I realized that I forgot an important tidbit I wanted to include. For that last duel you saw, which was against Rockets, despite my opponent opening pretty poorly, they had a chance to out my board and stay in the duel. They just didn't see it. So they could have gone Book of Moon on Red Nova Dragon instead of Doom Caliber Knight. By booking the Red Nova Dragon, you turn off its destruction protection. Then you normal your silver, use the skill to get Boot Sector Launch to get the second silver on board, Link Summon into Booster Dragon, and then you use Dragon Smear to fusion summon the Furious Dragon, and then you go ahead and use Booster Dragon to target Furious Dragon to try and give it 500 attack, at which point Doom Caliber will proc and negate and destroy the Booster Dragon. But Doom Caliber is not spell speed 3, you can still respond to it. So you can use Furious Dragon to chain to that, popping the Booster Dragon to pop the Red Nova Dragon, and then you're left on board with a Furious Dragon. You could swing for 3k and hopefully have enough to survive on the follow-up. The Furious Dragon is going to be able to trade with at least one of my monsters on my turn, and I had a top-decked Crimson and a Wild Wind and Grave, which means I have full combo, but if they hit me at the, really any point, they hit me at the Red Rising, okay, I still get the Resonator back, but I'm not going to be able to do much else because I only had the 2 cards to play with. If they let me synchro into a level 8, okay, that's fine. None of my level 8s are quick effect, so you just pop the level 8, and now I have nothing on board, and anything you normal summon instantly becomes very threatening. So there were things they could have done. Fortunately for me, they didn't see it. But again, I think a common theme of this going against meta TDGP replay thing is it's up to you as the non-meta player to capitalize on your opponent's misplays and missed opportunities. So there you go. It's probably something you're going to hear me say a lot, but I think it's important to reinforce because not everybody is going to play perfectly all the time. Not everybody is going to be optimal all the time. Just play your best, try your best to capitalize on the opportunities given to you, and most importantly, try to have fun while you're doing it. Okay, everybody, have fun with the rest of the video. And our last replay is going to be against Yugioh Fudo. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm only showing you this one because something really funny happens. Let's watch and find out. So they're Yugioh, they're going to go first, and they're going to go ahead and set 3 pass. And what do we top deck? The third MST. So we're going to MST, they're MST, they're going to MST our MST, we're going to MST the Compulse, and then we're going to MST their Cosmic Cyclone, and then we're going to swap out. They're going to see we have full combo, and they're going to scoop. I could only imagine what their face looked like when they saw the third MST come off the top. Oh, that was funny. I was laughing hysterically when that actually happened. That is the first time I have seen 3 MST in the opener versus set 3 back row. Alright everybody, that's going to do it for our replays today. Stay tuned for the next video, and until next time, be safe, have fun everybody.